Mm,
Did you hear it say recording in progress?
yes.
Okay, so we're going to record. So in any event, these are my 213.2 charts that I use and visualize, and this is the entry zones that I kind of look at and all that. But right now I have to do it manually. So I'm running it on an 8.2 chart, and I don't have colors on here because I don't really care. But just to go through the settings here real quick, we'll do that. It's the trade management. And so I'm going to use load. I got different charts here, but I'm going to load this one up. Okay, so starting at the top, it's this pause button here. Once I activate it, it's 150 from the left margin. Okay, so that's just where kind of I like it. I like it right around there. I don't want it over here too close because the price gets down there, and I don't like it way over here. I want it close, for my eyes to be relatively close. So I have it like right here. So that's changeable. Your times are for like news, things like that. That if you don't want to trade certain times, this continuous button is when the buttons do pop up here and I activate it. When you're in the manual mode, it'll automatically default to the automated mode. And I think I'm going to change that to default to the manual mode, but that's regardless. You switch back and forth with the button. Anyway, the buttons back here is when you are in the manual mode, if you click long only and you click continuous, it will stay in long only. It'll take a trade, it'll get out of the trade, it'll take another one, only longs, and just take it all day long until you stay stop. That's fine under certain stances, but I do not want that on because I want to be able to take a trade, and then once it takes the trade, it turns itself off. So if you want to take a second trade, you got to click the button again, long or short, whatever it is. But every time it takes a trade, then it's going to turn itself off. So that's more of the manual mode. And I want I do not want it to keep it on the continuous mode because it toggles back and forth between longs and shorts. Now, if you're in a long run and you're going long, literally long, in a long run, and you want to just keep it on long, that's fine. You just keep it on long, and you can do continuous, and all you got to do is say pause or don't pause, and you can trick it that way, or don't even pause it at all and just let it go. Just keep taking trades. So anyway, that's what that one does. The auto trail alert, I like my chinging, and some people may or may not like that, so they could turn it off if they don't want. I have the auto trail tone in there, which is just your standard default, from your sounds file. And I used to have it on every tick, but it kind of got obnoxious, so I turned it to 8. I'm even thinking maybe change it to 10 or something like that, but easy counting. But right now it's set for 8. The version, so this section here is going to be moved down here because the first thing that you should see is the version number. So that should be on top. This is like group 1. Okay, so now let's get into the guts of it. So the entry trigger is where everything takes place. Everything's going to take place on the entry trigger, and that entry trigger is based on the prior bar. So when it sees the prior low bar, it will trigger 12 ticks up from that low. So basically it will chase it down. So if it's going down, 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 it's going to chase it down, and the instant it gets 12 ticks up higher from that low, it'll trigger. And you change that, whatever, it depends on, what your strategies are. That's certainly changeable. Everything comes from here, the entry trigger. So you could put on, whatever quantities you want. If you put on an offset, if you leave your offset at 0, it's a market order. So when it triggers at 12 there, which is our trigger, it will put the first contract on with an offset of 0, just a market order. Your second order will go on, but this one's showing a -5 pullback, which means that's going to be a limit order. That's going to be a limit order set 5 ticks back. If I did +5, then that would be a buy stop. And so in other words, it would trigger at 12 and it would set up a buy stop at 5 more past that. So basically 17 ticks from the low of that bottom is where you're getting in at. So again, you can kind of play with that. So that's a negative or a positive. You got to make sure you're in the right direction, because if you put 5 in there thinking you're going to get an offset, you're going to get a positive offset instead of a negative offset. So I should probably put something in there, a little comment that says, negative or positives. Same thing with quantity 3. If you want quantity 3, you can put that in there with that offset if you want an offset and whatever it does. As a matter of fact, why don't I do this on Sim since I'm recording? I'll put 3 on there. And I'm going to have the first one go on at -5 and this one go off to 10. So at 12 ticks from the low of the prior bar, so like right here, it's kind of, I'm trying to measure with this yellow one here, this dotted one. So it would trigger, if I had it on, it would trigger and it chases it down. So it's going to come down, 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 down. You see a little red or blue or green hash mark. And so I'm kind of mimicking that with my reversal bar here. So now if we were going down and I had it on, once it hit that little hash mark there, it would trigger in. And then when it does trigger in, you would have your first one on at market order. Your second one would be in at -5. So that would be in right now. And the other one was -10. So that's probably still hanging out there waiting to be filled. So right now you'd be in like 2. And those are, any unfilled order here is going to cancel in 19 ticks. So in other words, our entry was where we said our entry was right around here, maybe if we're going down in this scenario. So when it gets down to here, though, that one that's still up there hanging is going to cancel off. And I get all these numbers from stats and the spreadsheet and whatnot. And anyway, we'll go from there. Okay, so that's how your orders are filled, with or without offsets, limit orders, buy orders, however you deem necessary here, and quantity. So I just do 1, 1, 1. And I'm actually thinking about doing doing 1 here with an offset of 0, and then have my first target at 26 where I have it. But then I'm actually thinking of putting this one on at an offset of 0 too, but with no target. So basically I'll put 2 on instantly at a market order. One will have a target and the other one will not have a target. The second one will not have a target, because what I'm finding is a lot of times, and I don't know if I like it or not for sure. I mean, it's kind of nice. I'll get the order, it'll go in right away on that market order and I'll hit my target. This will cancel out at 19. I'll hit my target and it's 1 and done. The other 2 got canceled out because it never pulled back. It just took off. So I constantly am getting single, I just call them 1 and done. So in order to, combat that, if I put 1 on with a market order with the target of 26, another one on with a market order also, so I change it to 0, but this profit is 0. So that would put 2 on instantly, but different things. And then if I did a third one, I could put an offset or with the offset of whatever I want with the target or not, so that's all. So basically all this is here is your entries, and this is your areas on how you want it to fill up. So your initial stop, I have set for 32. So all of them are going to be 30 ticks, not from their entry. And very carefully, you have to understand this. It's not coming from its offset and its average price. It's coming from here. Everything's measured from the trigger. So I have it set 32 ticks from the trigger is going to be my stop. Now, if I get in at less 10 ticks, in reality, that's only that's going to be a 10, 12 tick stop.
Yeah.
This one would have a little bit more than that, and this would have the full 32 tick stop. So you could spread these out any way you want, but keep in mind, it's all based on this trigger right here, not where you get filled. Because if you just get 1 order, you're going to be in at the market order of 12 off the bottom if you're going long. But if you get these in, and now you're at your price averages, and now your average is not 12 off the bottom, it's less than it's less than that. But your stop is still going to maintain 32 unless you've changed it. So there's your profit targets. If you want a profit targets, if you want 0, there's just no targets. And I like runners to have no targets, because I just manage it by the next phase here, or next group, which is the auto trail. So there's your stops, and each quantity here has its own profit target and initial stop loss, and you can set those up independently. Then you have your next session, which is move to break even if you want it. Now, again, I have to set at 26 ticks. So at 26 ticks, when that first one comes off, that first target comes off, I'm going to go with that runner. I'm going to go -6. So basically, I don't want to bring it to break even +1 because that would only give me a 25 tick spread. And I want more than that. Remember, I'm trying to maintain my 30 based on statistics, numbers, etc. So I want that. I want to keep that spread. But yet, on the other hand, I don't want to, I don't want to have it lingering out there weighted at 32 ticks from the trigger. I want to tighten it up a little bit. So by using the break even at 26 ticks, I take one contract off and I'm fine with the -6. And if it gets popped out, it won't classify as a loser because my consecutive losses are deemed here by 40 ticks from this trigger is deemed a loss. And if I have 2 consecutive losses of full stops, then it's going to stop trading. But this would not classify, even if it get popped out at -6. Ninja would consider that a losing contract because it's negative a penny. However, in this scenario, we are not because it's not 40 or above, so it's not going to be considered a loser. Okay, so that's the break even. So now we're tight, and now we've got our profit started. Now we have our profit at -6. We've already taken one off. Now, everything else, depending on, now we go in, this is very similar or basically mimics the ATM strategy that is on the, that you're familiar with Ninja. So I call this basically my ATM strategy on steroids. So this is the same thing. So you got your step 1 trigger at 30 ticks, it's going to trail 46. Now keep in mind, we're at -6 already. So it's not going to bounce backwards. It's just going to stay there until the spread exceeds 46, and then it will maintain that 46 spread. And then at 80, this next phase is going to kick in. It's going to tighten it up to 28 because at 80 we always get bounces. Statistically, it seems to be. That's actually Lloyd was the one that found that. So at 80, I tighten it up a little bit. If I get popped out, so be it, because I can very easily get back in. But I have noticed a lot of times that whether you get popped out or you don't, once we fiddle fart around there and get a chop box at that area, it continues for the remainder. So if you are able to handle it or withstand it, then you should be able to get to 120 easily from there. And at that point, I have it tightened up really tight because now I've seen it go on numerous accounts way past 120, 130, 140, but at some point in time, it's going to pop you out, and because it's tight. And it's not like it's going to, pop you out right at 120. It might hit 120. And as soon as this triggers and it brings it to 14, then you could instantly lose. And so you're going to give back 14 there. If it goes to 130 and you get back 14, well, then you're at, 16, 116. So anyway, that's how it's the same thing as the ATM that's currently in use right now at Ninja. As I talked briefly about here with the consecutive pause, or the auto pause, the consecutive, if you have automatic, I'll have to test that. I don't know if that's going to work on. That should work on manual too. That I have to test that. I haven't tested that, but it should work on manual. So if you just keep clicking the button and saying trade manually, once it hits 2 consecutive losses, it should say, I don't care what you want, I'm not doing it. So I'll have to check the manual side of that. But in any event, so my version, as I briefly talked about, is I have it set for 40 ticks, which is my loss. So if I have a 40 tick loser, then to me that's a loss. And if I have 2 of those, then stop trading, because 2, and I might tweak that and change it. But as I say, Ninja, you could with Ninja, you could be down negative penny and you're a loser. And that's not how I'm going to judge this. So you dictate what a loser is, and I'm dictating it at 40. So whether or not, well, I'm still testing that. So, well, I guess I could leave it on. No, I'm going to leave it out because I'm testing that still. And I'm going to leave these off too, because these are not working right just yet. I've written them up. The daily target pause, basically, if you put in $500 there and you've reached $500, it'll stop trading. And again, I haven't tested the manual side of that, so I don't know if the manual will be able to override that, but I would think it shouldn't, because the logic would be, no, I'm done. I hit my goal, I'm done. Of course, you could turn the strategy off and turn it back on again. But if you had the discipline manager, it would take care of it for you. And eventually sometime that code for Discipline Manager might be incorporated in the bot. That's just another component, the many of the components. Again, keep in mind, this is only the trade management. This is not have anything to do with all the other things like pivot stops. That code is already included in this one here. That's already there. It doesn't take any consideration as far as VWAP or when not to trade. That's already in here. This is strictly the ATM trade management portion of it and the entries of how you want to get entered in. But anyway, getting back to this, so that's not working. Same thing with losses. If you go down X amount, then it's supposed to stop, and it's not working correctly. It lets you trade, and so even though you're down, you know, whatever, I tested it at like 10,000, or no, this one here I put at like $10,000, and it would not let me trade, and I know I didn't make $10,000. And on this one here, I put $100, and I exceeded that, and it kept trading. So that those aren't working yet. Everything else is just ninja stuff. I put on this is my tracking code. So the labels are 200 dot the market dot your email. That's how I put the stats into the system. And that's just all pretty much about it. So let me, oh, most importantly, you know, sim. So, you know, I'm going to go on sim. I'm going to leave it on sim right now, and I'll do some demonstrations here. So I'll leave that on sim, and that's a go. So just so we could see it here in our status box, I have to change this to sim too, because this comes from there. I could turn it on. So this account here, the sim, is based on the chart trader. That's where it's coming from. So all right. So now I'm on, I default, when I turn on the strategy, I had it default to pause because it was originally on automatic. And as soon as I turned it on, I was in a trade, going like that. So now that will automatically show up on pause. So here's your buttons. Turn this off. Obviously pause. Now, if I turn that off pause and turned it on active, then automatically it would take long or short, whatever direction, it wouldn't matter. If I say only do longs or only do shorts, well, then it would only, if it's set up, it would only do those. Those, let me change this one over to sim 2. I haven't taken any trades today, so turn that off, and I'll even do this one too. That way we can see them on the big charts, because I like looking at these. These are where the you know, the trades are coming from. No, where'd it go? Oh shit, I lost it. Hold on, it's back here. So this is where I look to determine, you know, what I want to do, and then I just click the button and say do it. Eventually it'll all be, you know, married together, but anyway, it is what it is. So if I click this button to the manual mode, then basically I have to tell it what to do. You know, enter on the next. I'm paused. I'm not gonna do it. So I've made these reversal bars. I try to get this yellow one to kind of get right where that trigger would be. I think it's pretty close, so that way you can see it even when it's not active, because right now if I turned it on, it would be active. You'll see a little hash mark there, and that's where it would have been. So as a matter of fact, let me no, that's right. That's okay. So Victor, you know what these reversal bars are. I could leave those on, right? You know, this is the higher time frames.
Yeah,
you know what they are, right? Okay. So let me so I'm going to unpause it. I'm on manual mode, and I'm going to say, oh, I like a long. So let's try to get a long. So we probably missed it, but I'm going to say up bar. So see that little here's my little hash mark.
I'll be right back. 1 second.
Okay.
I mean, you can continue.
No, that's fine. Oh, because I'm going on. Well, it doesn't qualify, so I'm waiting. So I have to have it come down in order for it to get a hash bar. So I could just sit here, and it's just not going to do anything until it gets a down bar. I have to have a down bar. So now it might be getting a little too far away from me, so I might opt to just, you know, uncheck that. Or not uncheck. If I uncheck, it'll do either direction. I would just want to pause it. Or no, I take it, I would just turn it off, because I'm not in the, yeah, I can just turn it off right there. So it's getting too far away from me. So, but I will leave it on just for giggles here. And as soon as I get a down bar, you're going to see a green hash mark appear. And that's going to show where the trigger, the entry trigger will be. Now, remember, one was instantly and the other ones were offsets. So you'll see, if we get them all, you'll see 3 targets, 3 stops, but only 2, I'm sorry, 3 contracts entered if we get them all, 3 stops, but only 2 targets, because remember I had one set to 0 as a runner. So maybe I should pause here. Because this could take forever. So let me pause. Well, no, I don't have to. All right, so there's my down bar. There's my trigger. So that hash mark right there, if I get an up bar, we're going to go with it. So we wait. Now this is live market. That's why I'm doing it in Sim. I've been doing it on live with real money, just test with real money, but that's why I'm on micros, because you know, a couple weeks ago there was a little glitch. You have to breach that too, by the way. There was a little glitch, and I was glad that I was in micros. So anyway, here's my first contract. Here's my other ones hanging there with my offsets. There's my one contract target. I'm sorry, there's my one target. Here's our 2 entries. So we're in 1 for sure. So this might be a 1 and done. If it doesn't come back and get those, these will cancel out and it'll get my, all right, so now I'm in 2 contract. My stop, notice that just went up because I have them all set to the same. So here's my stop. So this one may or may not take. Let's see if I get it or not. But so far I've got 1 target. The other one's going to be a runner, 2 contracts, 2 stops. So, and if you look here at, you know, what it actually looks like, and I have my target zone on too right there, which is it's another code. It's the target zone. So anywhere in there, I'm safe. You know, I can't tell you how many times you're looking for a target and it goes, you know, 1 tick away and pulls away. So I got tired of that. I like protection. So now we wait, and it looks like that. Looks like we might get that 3rd one actually. We actually might. If it gets up here, we're probably not going to get it. But if we can get, we fiddle further around or flung enough, I might get that 3rd one. But in any event, I have a run. So I mean, if anything, it's 1 and done. And again, if you remember the settings, once we hit the target, not the zone, you know, because the zone will, if it pulls back, it's going to make it a target. But so I'm not interested in that. But if we actually hit this 26 tick target, then we will go to break even with, well, 1 will come off, and then the remaining stop will come to break even -6 of them right there. So it'll come about right there, but just still maintain our spread from the current price to here. So it would be something like this. It would be right about there once we hit that area. So that one canceled out. It was 19 ticks. So that one canceled out. There's my zone. There's my chocolate bar. So see, notice it just popped me out. It hit my target, but it technically didn't hit the target. About that. Caught it on camera. So there's the target. So this one's going to stay down here until I hit this 26 ticks. But the first contract went out because of the target zone. It got into that zone, and then the chocolate bar is set to give it like 3 ticks. And I'm not messing with it. Rather, a lot of times it'll just blow right through it. But on many times it gets popped out at the set limit or the chocolate bar. So I'm looking for 6 ticks from our trigger. I can't see my trigger. Where's my trigger? Right there. So there's my trigger. 6 ticks from that. That was my entry, so I'm assuming it's probably like right around there. So my stop should go about here. My stop should go about there. Now remember, the trigger's here. So it's going to go 6 ticks from the trigger, not 6 ticks from the entry. Remember, we got averaged in because We took the first one here, second one there, so we're average. But the trigger, if I take that back, the trigger, I can barely see it. I think it's right there. So this is where that stop's going to go, that break even. So it's a -6 from the trigger. In the meanwhile, it's just going to stay right where it's at. Oh, I guess we go back to here. Oh, well, I'll get this one. I don't like the red. Now there's an entry zone going down, so that is a little dangerous. So if you wanted to manually manipulate it, once it gets into this area, you could manually bring it up here. All right, so I'm on. Okay, so anyway, you kind of got the idea though. All right, Victor, you back?
Yes, I'm here.
I don't know if you saw that, but I'll put it on a record.
Yeah, I was.
So now he's got to do what, if we get back up here, I mean, I can see a short. You notice how these turned off because I did not have that continuous. If I had that continuous check, then it would still be on, it would still be highlighted as long only. I mean, we can do it again if you want to go long. So there's our hash mark right there. But just for giggles, let's do it. Oops, wrong one. Let's go long. So right there's our hash mark. If we bounce up, now it's going to trail down. So if it keeps going down, that hash mark is going to, okay, it's not there. Okay, so now it turned off. So now I'm clear. And now our target is right at our entry, so that's fine. And so I noticed it got in 2. So there's third one here is an offset of 10. All 2 of our stops are down here. There's one still hanging, one target. The other doesn't have a target because it's set for 0. So if this one goes up there and blows through this area, well, that's fine. And if it doesn't, then that's fine too. So we're done with, I mean, basically it's done. Now we're just monitoring it. Ah, crap, I don't want to do that. Hide it.
Order submitted.
Okay, so it did come down and pull us in, and now we're out as a loser. Okay, fine, whatever. I don't care. It's on time, right? All right, so well, we're at some moving averages. There's a 3-minute moving average, and here is the so let's just go. We might have missed it already. Yeah, we missed it because now it's the hash mark's there again. So the reason why I say missed it is remember how the trigger works. The trigger is a buy order, buy stop or a sell stop. So it needs to have the higher. So in order to go long, it needs to have a down bar because it's going to measure from here to here. Oh, crap. Well, anyway, it's going to measure from the low 12 ticks of the prior bar. So it's measuring from the low to the prior bar. Now, once we breach that, then it's gonna trigger. And this will just chase it down. And there it goes. I should pop in. There it is. Okay.
Order submitted.
And so there's our 2. Of course, now don't follow me trading live because obviously I'm just putting these on. Okay, just for demonstration. So don't. Yeah, let's clarify that with my disclaimer. The risk is risk in trading, and you can lose everything.
I'm already done for today.
What's that?
I'm already done for today.
Oh, okay, good. Okay, good. Because I don't want anybody to do anything crazy.
Plus, I don't do it.
This is just sampling of that. Now let's do an automatic mode. So let's not do longs or short. Let's just let it go automatic. So it's going to do whatever. So right now it's going to go long at 12 ticks from the bottom. And then as soon as we get out, it won't do anything until you get flat. You gotta be flat. Okay, so let's see what happens. Once I get canceled out of this one or hit the targets, then it will set up the next one. So this thing could just go. Now for scalping purposes, that's great, but your target's got to be a lot smaller.
Thank you.
So I do know somebody who he's not in the room right now, but I know somebody who wants to scalp it, so you can get 10 ticks real easy. So that was a one and done. You see it went up right here it pulled the first one. It never came back and got the other ones. It canceled out. So those got canceled out, hit the target, and that's the end of it. And now we got a hash mark there waiting for a short. So now it's going to come back down. So, you know, we can do this all day long. And so that's what I was talking about. A lot of times you get one and done. And that's why I was thinking about putting 2 on instantly at a market order, 1 with no target. And I'll change that up. I'll see what the numbers say. Okay, so those canceled, that hit target. Now we're done. Okay, so now we're still active. It's still on automatic. So I'm just watching it go crazy here. Of course, I'm not in market replay, so I can't make it go fast. But in a chop, you can see how you can play with this in chop. You know, this could
Order submitting. Order
this
submitting.
could really go nuts and chop. Just take 10 ticks, take 10 ticks, take 10 ticks. But you have to manage your stop loss. And I don't know, taking 10 ticks a few times is great, but you get stopped with the bigger stop, and then it just defeats the purpose. So I don't know. 6 to 1, half dozen to another. Well, you can see right here, looking at these numbers, negative 75 on micros, doing 3 contracts. And, you know, that's why I just keep talking, you know, it's just doing it randomly, and it's, you know, it's stupid. It doesn't know which way to go. It's just going to go what it's told to do. And I've told it to go everywhere. So, and with these big, huge stops. So if we wanted to just do this, I have some different settings for scalping that I was playing with. So again, a lot tighter targets, and it's pretty cool. It just automatically does it. Just up, down, up, down, up, down. I don't care which way it goes, because as soon as it takes a target, it cancels it, you're flat, and now you're ready to take it again the other way. And you can do that all day long. Eventually you're gonna lose, you know, eventually one's gonna, you know, pop you out and keep running. But that's the whole chop box theory. Anyway, so you got any questions on that? So I'm glad I recorded this rather because if I would have done it, I've already explained this a few times already, so I figured this would be an opportunity to record it. So when you asked and I started, I'm like, let me record it. So here's, you know, about you notice this zone's a little bit bigger than this zone. That's by design. I don't know if you're familiar with this one or not, but I'll just show you since we're here. Under indicators, you can download it off the web page if you don't already. Target zone. So target zone. So on your target 1, your zone is 3 ticks from your target, wherever your target might be. And then from there, I give it 7 ticks. So when it hits that target zone from 3 ticks, so if your target's at, you know, 10, and you're saying the zone is going to be 3 ticks under that, so now your zone is at 7, and you're giving it 7 ticks of retracement. Well, basically that's break even. So, you know, you got to keep that in mind, because once it gets in that zone, then it'll keep chasing it until it hits the full target. But the zone is going to give you 7. So what I have done in the past, and this is for contract 2 and contract 3. So if you notice, this one here is a little bigger because I have it set for 4 ticks. So it's 1 tick bigger. In any event, what I was thinking of doing, or what I did play with around, and I did this, I made it 20. I made my zone 20, but I put my target, instead of at, you know, right here, I'd have my target here. So this whole zone would be, so it basically the start of the zone would be at the bottom here, where I want it to be. So all right here would be zone. And at any time in this zone, it pulled back 7 ticks, I'd be out, and I'd be fine with that. But sometimes it just takes off and hits your target, and you just got 20 extra ticks. So something to keep in mind. Just have a big zone. But you got to make sure that your targets are set too, because if you set your target for, you know, 10 ticks and your zone is 20 and you get in, well, then you're instantly out. You know, I mean, it's like you're already in your zone as soon as you get in. So something to keep in mind, but it's things I've been playing with. It's pretty cool. It's basically just a chaser. You know, that little chocolate bar that shows there, all it is regardless of where your target is that you're close enough for government work. So boom, I'm trailing this really tight. And you could do it with the ATM strategy. But the only problem with that is it doesn't follow the trigger, or I'm sorry, the target. So if you do it with the ATM strategy, it could trail it really tight, but you have to give it a number. And in this case, I don't have a number. My number is my target, wherever my target happens to be. So you move your targets around based on moving averages and things like that. So wherever that target is, that zone is going to be. Unlike the ATM strategy of Ninja, you have to dictate before the trade, or if you're fast enough to do it during the trade, of where that's going to be. So anyway, if that kind of makes sense. I don't know. Hopefully, I'm rambling. I guess I can call it. So anyway, there's my little zone right there. So if we get in anywhere near there, I'm safe. You'll see a little chocolate bar. I call it, because just the color of it's chocolate. So I call it a chocolate bar. It'll plot here and it'll disappear once you hit your target, but it just basically trails it very tightly. And in markets like this, where it just kind of fiddle farts around, it kind of works its way up there. It just seems to take forever. Look at that. And if you move this target, it'll move it with you. That's what I was talking about with the ATM strategy. So if I did something like this and I put my zone like right there, if I just get one tick underneath this, I'm safe, because then my chocolate bar would be down here. But if I get up here, I'll get my full target. So you got a 3-tick zone. That's what I was talking about. I made a 20-tick zone. So anyway, that's where we're at. So this is going to just do this. So I can just pretty much do this all day long. I'll see now we're down negative 118. It's just, these stops are not designed for scalping. That's kind of what I'm doing right now. So we've been in this trade a minute and 40 seconds. It's on a sim account. My ATM strategy, well, that's not even being used right now. I could probably just turn that off because I'm not using it. I don't need to see it. What is it? Oh, it might go off next. I don't know. I got to refresh it or something. I don't know. Anyway, so this is it. Any questions, Vic? Or, I mean, you pretty much got it now, right?
No, yeah, it's got the idea.
So now it's just a matter, but it's so sweet because all I do is click a button and everything's all predetermined based on numbers, statistics, averages from, many, 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 many days of data. And now I got the price extensions. If you notice, I got price extensions on here. I'm collecting those. Those are available now too. Actually, you can download those. Oh, I don't know. I wasn't watching, but you see the chocolate bar. So anyway, so that was that a one and done? Yeah, I guess it was. So it was a one and done. It never pulled back. So we're done with that. So now here's a little hash mark for the short. And yeah, it's not going to take that one because it's the same bar. So it'll go up again. There you go. And again, another one and done. That's what I keep talking about, possibly going to, because I want the runner. See there's my chocolate bar, and I'm out. And again, this time I'm going down. All right, let's see. Well, with this up strength, I should be able to get those other two. Another one and done. Seriously? So you can get these all day long. They're canceled out. There's your chocolate bar, and I'm out. See, it didn't even hit my target, but I got into my zone. I saw that fast enough or not, but it's out. I'm not gonna mess around with text like that. Oh, see, look how much of that. Beautiful, beautiful thing. And I'm not doing anything other than just sitting here watching. And what are we doing?
Oh, I don't do so.
What's that?
1 second.
Order submitted.
And there's a second one. So that one I have a runner. This one's got a runner. That second one. And the third one may or may not get it. And again, I have all my stops at the same spot. You can stagger them and put them anywhere you want, but I have them all at the same spot because again, it's based on the trade. The trade is the trigger. And you, regardless of where you get in, that's what your numbers are set for consistently. Not by averages or anything like that. It's based all on the trigger. All right, so now I got a runner. This one went to break even. This one, here's what I got to fix. This needs to be done. It's still holding on to this one here for a few more ticks. But the stop is already in front of it. So when the stop pulls equal to or in front of this should be cancel out. This should cancel out. Or in the settings, I'm going to have it where you cannot have a bigger number. You cannot do this. You can't have a stop in front of an entry. It's going to cancel as soon as we get in anyway. But now I've seen it a couple times pop me out here because it doesn't hit 26. It comes back, pops me out. So I'm flat, but I still got this pending order. What happened here? Why is it hanging? Why is that hanging? Oh, I'm glad I'm recording this. 12:15. There's stop on the first. Why didn't that one take it out? That target zone should have taken it out. All right, so now I'm into that hanging order that never got filled. So I'm still wanting to go long, but I'll probably get popped out. So this is the third contract, and that's why it's way up here at 40 ticks, if I'm not mistaken. And the zone is 4 ticks. But our stop still stays the same at 32 ticks from our entry, which was, I think, right around here somewhere. And I think I'm going to have that hash mark stay on there because it disappears. And I once it's triggered the order, I want it to stay there. You know, let me make a note on that right now. All right. Well, am I crawling out of the hole? Maybe. So now I want to break even and bada boom, and now that's out. Okay, well, there we go. Well, I guess I could turn off the recording. So I think everybody's got the idea, right?
Hey,
Order canceled.
You can go manual, you could turn it. Well, it just tripped right when I was turning it to manual, but okay, so it's an automatic. So this is the short. What happened there? How come I only took one? Maybe because I might have hit the button at the exact time it did it, but you know, whatever. All right, I think I'm gonna call it for this video.